Hi everyone, welcome back to the Casual Watch Review channel. So today we are going to be doing a full review on my Seiko, it's the SBDC055, or as I like to think of it, the PADI version of the Seiko 62 Mass re-edition. And what we'll be doing is during the course of this, I'm actually going to compare the two watches together because there are some differences. Obviously the cost is a big one. So this has been a great watch. In fact, I think it's probably one of the best dive watches that I've ever owned. Great design. That dial, the blue to the black gradient on the dial is just stunning. The finish on it is top notch, really. I'll also show you the different strap that I've put on it as well. I took the stock strap off. I've done a full unboxing of this as well. I'll leave the link down below, and also how I replaced the strap on it. So what we'll do is I'm gonna turn the camera around, we'll do a full review of the watch. I'll give you a few pros and cons that I found out from the last sort of couple of weeks of owning it. I'm also gonna do a full breakdown of how this compares to the 62 Mass re-edition that Seiko released last year, because they do look very similar, but there are some differences, so we'll go over that. So definitely hang on till the end of the video if you're interested in checking that out. So anyway, let's get started. So here's the watch. I've got a bit of a Japanese theme going on in the studio today while we do this review on this great Japanese-made watch. So here it is. So this is as mentioned in the intro, this is the PADI reissue. So it's the SBDC055, and it's actually very similar to the 62 Mass reissue that Seiko released last year. So we'll actually go through and compare the two together at the end of the video. So overall, great looking watch. I think one of the favorite divers that I've actually ever owned. I love this kind of like vintage look to it. I actually put this Uncle Seiko strap on it. Gives it that real nice vintage feel to it. So let me show you the original strap that came with it. So I actually featured this in the unboxing. So it's a very nice strap, very supple. It's got the stainless steel hardware on there. As you can see, it's actually got all the labels still on it. I haven't even tried it on. I took it off straight away. And don't know if we can see this, but it's actually got a Kawagawa wave actually on the strap there as well. But a very nice strap. Also, there's like a metal tube down this strap here, which is pretty cool actually to make it a bit more durable. So, you know, if there's tension on the strap from the spring bars, it will actually kind of dissipate along the rubber strap. So very well made actually, very solid buckle on there. As you can see, all the plastic and everything's still actually on it. So anyway, we'll put that to one side. And before I progress with that, as I mentioned, I have done an unboxing, but just to show you the box, it's got this kind of like leather look to it. And then we've got the Prospex, Seiko Prospex on there, and the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, their logo. Now, just to settle something before I start, when I did the unboxing, I said that the instructions that I received, because I bought it from Japan, I said the instructions that I received were in Japanese, which they were, but what I didn't do was actually scroll to the back where the English instructions were. So thank you to everyone for pointing that out to me, much appreciated. But I thought I would set the score straight that the English instructions were in the back, and as they should be for a Japanese domestic watch. It should be the Japanese are in the front there. So anyway, right. So overall, very sleek design on here, very retro looking. The bezel has got a real nice action to it, although it is actually quite noisy. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll just stop speaking for a second. So it is noisy, but it has got like a nice action to it. We've got this crown on here without crown guard. So very sort of retro looking as well. There is a slight actual shrouding on the crown guard there, but only like sort of 0.5 millimeter or whatever. Now, how this differs from the 62 Mass reissue is this has actually got a curved case to it instead of a more squared off design. It's actually sort of been polished round here. So it actually gives it a kind of a thinner profile there. As we can also see there, we've got the drilled lugs, which is a really nice touch. So making it a lot easier to remove the spring bars on there. I just can't get over this dial, this kind of blue dial. It has, like, not only does it have a blue gradient to black dial, and it's very reminiscent actually of the Rolex, the James Cameron Deep Sea Dweller that I reviewed in a previous video a couple of months back. But and actually that James Cameron had a more matte finish to the dial, where this has definitely got a more kind of satin look to it. Now, as well as it having this kind of gradient dial, it also has like a wave pattern, which looks to me similar to the James Bond Omega Seamaster that they had in the 90s. But the wave is actually almost etched deeper into the dial, which gives it a great finish. A lot of detail and attention has actually gone on this dial, and it really shows. I've not seen the others in this range, but there's a black dial, a green dial, and a blue dial. Not PADI re-editions, but the other versions of this. Now, just sort of concentrating on the dial, we've got the hour and the minute hands there. So the hour hand is like an arrow, so very reminiscent actually of the monster, the Seiko monsters. The sort of spear hand here or the sword hand, I should say, it's got a very nice red outer line to it. But the second hand actually doesn't have any loom or anything on it, only on the pip on the opposite side of it. So that actually differs from, say, like an SKX or something like that. We've got Seiko on here. We've got PADI, although it's obscured here by the hour hand. And then we've got these really nice implied markers, and they've been generously applied with loom on there. Now, I have to say, the Lumabrite on this is some of the best that I've ever seen on a watch. Not only is it really bright, but it's actually different colours as well, which is really nice, so you can sort of tell the orientation of the watch. And I've noticed this even in daylight when I've gone from like a lighter room to a darker room. It's definitely, it's definitely got a lot brighter on there. It's also a great watch for going out and about. So I've been down to the beach with this, been in the sea with it. I also have taken this on walks, so used it to time a few walks in and around where I live in California. And then I also took it to the local car show near me. Anyway, so moving from the front here, now this bezel has also got a pip of loom in it, and this is actually, I think this might be an aluminium insert. It's certainly not ceramic, but I guess you wouldn't expect that in this price range. Moving around to the back, we've got Seiko on the back. We've got the special edition. We've got that Kawagawa wave on there, which I've been decorating the studio with pictures of it to show you. Now, I always assumed that this was kind of like decoration that they put on the back, but it does actually mean something. It is linked to the fact that it's got 200 meters water resistance. So an interesting fact as well, the original 62 mass actually was only 150 meters. So moving back around here to the crown. So how this differs from the 62 mass re-edition is this crown is unsigned, whereas the 62 mass, the re-edition version, actually has Seiko on it. This is a screw down crown. So if we unscrew it there, we can actually wind the watch, and it's got a very smooth winding action to it. It's really nice to actually wind. The original 62 mass from the 60s, actually the crown wasn't a screw crown. It was just it just pulled out. So looking at we've got the date here with the white surround, the white backing on there, so very easy to see. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk on the forums and stuff around misalignment of the applied indices and other misalignment on Seikos in general, really. But this looks pretty good, actually. This watch does have anti-reflective coating on it, but we are picking some reflections up from the studio lights. But I'll get in really close here so you can see that there isn't actually an alignment issue on this. Now, just moving last before I move from the face of the watch, The bezel's actually got this really nice blue colour to it. So this is actually something that's unique to the PADI version of this watch. So let's just measure this out now. So the bezel is 42 millimeters. We've got from the crown to the edge 47. And then the lug to lug is just a hair under 50 millimeters there. So let's just try the watch on the wrist. It's actually, considering its larger size, it is very comfortable, and this Uncle Seiko strap actually gives it a lower profile than the strap it came with. But yeah, very comfortable, wears really well. Regular viewers of the show will know that my wrist is kind of like average, kind of 7.5 inch wrist on there. So overall, I'm extremely happy with this. But what I wanted to do is just show you in comparison between this watch and then the 62 mass re-edition that they did, to show you that actually there's a lot of similarities. There's a few differences, but a lot of similarities. And then we'll talk through the prices, etc. And then we'll talk through which one I prefer. And spoiler alert, it is definitely this one. Straight off, we can see that they do have a very similar design to them, although the 62 mass re-edition has got that more squared off case. Obvious things we can see as well is that the bezels thinner on the 62 mass re-edition. On the PADI version, we have a thicker bezel. We have that gorgeous blue on there as well. Also, the indices are different. We've got a lot cleaner dial on the 62 mass re-edition with those very straight hands. We've got the calendar that's very similar. The PADI has got a much busier dial. It's got those arrow hands similar to a Seiko Monster, for example. Also, the 62 mass actually comes with the waffle strap, whereas I've actually added this on as a separate feature. So here are both specs side by side, but let's break these down. So these watches actually have quite a lot in common. So they've both got a stainless steel case, although it's slightly more rounded on the PADI version. They have the anti-reflective coating. They've got that gorgeous Luma Bright on the hands. Both have the 50-hour power reserve. They're also both 200 meters. Now, something that was interesting was the original 62 mass was actually only 150 meters water resistance. Both magnetic resistance. So they've actually got quite a lot of common in the pair of them. So more importantly, let's look at the differences and see whether that actually accounts for the delta in cost. So the 62 mass re-edition uses Seiko's 8L35 26 dual movement. So this is actually an undecorated version of one of the movements they use in the Grand Seiko line, the 9S55. Now the PADI version uses the 6R15 23 dual movement. So there's a bit of discussions online about whether this is just a 7S26, which is Seiko's workhouse movement with the addition of hacking and manual winding, but I will let you do your own research on that one. The 62 mass comes with the stainless steel bracelet, whereas we've just got the silicone on the PADI version. Again, the case shape's slightly different. There's a more of a box shape to the 62 mass version. Slight variance in the accuracy of the movement, although they both are 50-hour power reserve. We've also got a slight difference in size, and then there's also a slight difference in weight there. The big difference here is the cost. So you're looking at over $5,000 for the 62 mass reissue, whereas the PADI version you're looking at around the $750 mark. So suffice to say, I'm more than happy with the PADI version that I've got. So guys, what did you think of that? As always, I really appreciate any comments you've got. If you've got any comments specific to this video, check them out down below. If this is your first time on my channel, really appreciate if you subscribe. I've got a lot of other videos I'm sure you'd be more than interested in. I've also got a Facebook group, Instagram, and an Etsy shop, all of the same name, The Casual Watch Reviewer. There's also an Amazon store that I've set up with a few curated picks that I've added on there, so kind of like an Amazon watch shop. It's regular Amazon, doesn't cost you any more for buying off there, and it definitely helps me out on the channel. So appreciate if you're interested in watches, perhaps going to that and having a look what I've got on there, and maybe if it's not on there, just navigating around and finding what you need. You can also reach me on the casualwatchreviewer@gmail.com. And as always, really appreciate you watching, and I will see you all next time on the Casual Watch Review channel. Thanks guys, bye.